Ever found yourself in the middle of an argument, feeling like you're about to blow your top? We've all experienced those moments, whether it's a heated exchange at work, a clash with someone close, or a fiery debate online. But what if I told you there's a way to handle conflicts without resorting to fists, whether in the literal or metaphorical sense? The ancient Stoics, known for their mastery of emotion and logic, have powerful strategies for facing opposition with grace and composure. In this video, you'll uncover 13 Stoic-inspired techniques to confront conflict directly, all rooted in the wisdom of great minds like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius. Believe me, these approaches might require more patience and effort than throwing punches, but the rewards, inner peace, long-term resolutions, and even transformed relationships, are worth every bit of effort. So, are you ready to learn how to handle conflict like a true Stoic? Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell to stay updated on all the videos that explore life's challenges through the timeless lens of Stoicism. Remember, your greatest victory doesn't come from winning external battles, but from mastering your own mind and heart. Now, let's dive into the first technique, understanding your adversary. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a roaring river, the waters foaming with fury. A wise Stoic wouldn't just leap in, instead, they'd focus their attention on the unseen depths below rather than the chaotic surface. Entering your opponent's mind is the essence of this first Stoic strategy. In the heat of the moment, it's tempting to react quickly, but true understanding comes from setting aside judgment and seeing beyond what's immediately apparent. As Epictetus wisely put it, it's not the event itself that disturbs us, but our interpretation of it. Here's how to start applying this principle of Stoic insight: step back from the situation, take a deep breath, and mentally zoom out. Observe the circumstances as if you were a neutral bystander, like a fly on the wall, watching the exchange with detachment. This emotional distance allows for clearer observation and more rational thought. Seek to understand the why behind their actions, ask genuine questions instead of immediately coming up with rebuttals. Focus on uncovering the motivations behind their words and behaviors. What are their concerns? What drives them? And what life experiences have shaped their point of view? By asking open-ended questions like, "What brought you to this point?" or "What are your underlying worries?" you can gather valuable insights. Approach this not with agreement, but with empathy. The goal is to understand their perspective, not necessarily to support it. Try to see the situation from their point of view. What values or beliefs are motivating them? How do they interpret what's happening? This exercise is meant to foster empathy, find common ground, and see the world through their eyes. Look for what's beneath the surface of the conflict. Often, disagreements stem from deeper issues like unmet needs, fears, or past hurts. Try to identify the underlying causes of the tension. What unspoken desires are at play? What fears are being triggered? Remember, this is about understanding, not condoning. Your aim is to uncover the layers of experience and perception that shape your opponent's actions. Just like a geologist studying the layers of rock to better understand the landscape, you'll find common ground through this Stoic practice, and you might also learn something important about yourself in the process. Once the raging river is understood, it transforms into a calm stream, where clarity and resolution become possible. The second Stoic technique is about choosing your battles wisely. Life is full of disagreements, whether it's a political argument, a spat over parking, or something more serious, but not every conflict deserves our full attention. Getting involved in every dispute can drain you emotionally, so the Stoics advise us to be selective. Imagine standing before a vast battlefield, where each argument has the potential to escalate. A wise Stoic pauses to evaluate the terrain before deciding which fights are worth engaging in. Is this particular conflict worth the energy? Will it impact your well-being or the things that truly matter to you? Seneca gives us a valuable reminder: the greatest remedy for anger is delay. When tensions rise, take a moment to pause and calm down before responding. Step back and view the situation with objectivity. In the heat of the moment, it's easy to lose perspective and make rash decisions. Epictetus also prompts us to ask ourselves, is this really worth my attention? Is this issue truly affecting your values, your well-being, or something of importance? Or is it just a minor annoyance, like a pebble in your path rather than a mountain to climb? By focusing only on what truly matters, you can approach those issues with greater effectiveness and clarity. Marcus Aurelius adds another dimension to this strategy: sometimes, silence is the most powerful response. There's great strength in choosing not to engage, in holding your tongue and letting things pass. Ignoring minor offenses or deciding not to engage in pointless arguments can be an act of self-control that preserves your inner peace. The Stoic philosophy encourages us to conduct a cost-benefit analysis of conflicts. Every disagreement demands mental energy and has potential. Sometimes, the strongest move is knowing when to bow out gracefully. Choosing your battles isn't about weakness or avoidance, it's about recognizing the value of your time and energy, and using them wisely. By applying this Stoic wisdom, you'll navigate life's challenges with more focus and save your strength for the fights that truly matter. Next, we turn to the third Stoic tactic: speaking with calm and clarity. Imagine you're facing an opponent, not with fists raised but with your words at the ready. Instead of launching into a tirade, the Stoic approach is to engage in calm and clear communication. This strategy, inspired by the teachings of thinkers like Seneca, focuses on expressing your thoughts and needs in a way that promotes understanding and reduces hostility. Effective communication isn't about shouting or making accusations, it's about making your point in a composed and thoughtful manner. Diffuse the intensity of the situation, but here's the key: humor should be applied wisely and with respect. The goal is to create a space where both sides can step back from the heat of the moment and breathe a little easier, not to belittle or undermine the other person's concerns. The Stoics, though often seen as serious thinkers, understood the value of levity in maintaining emotional equilibrium. Even Marcus Aurelius noted that it's important to remember our shared human frailty, which can sometimes lend itself to humor. Here's how to use this technique to your advantage. Timing is everything. Think of humor like a spice: too much at the wrong time, and it ruins the dish. Wait for moments when tensions have eased slightly, or there's a natural lull in the argument. The last thing you want to do is crack a joke in the middle of someone expressing genuine hurt or anger. But after emotions have cooled down a bit, a light-hearted remark can change the tone of the conversation for the better. Keep it light, not cutting. Sarcasm and biting humor can escalate a situation fast. The aim is to lighten the mood, not add fuel to the fire. Stick to humor that is self-deprecating or observational, not directed at the other person. A quip about how ridiculous the situation has become, without blaming anyone, can often help both parties step back and realize they're not as far apart as they might have thought. Find the shared laugh. The best humor in tense moments comes from shared experiences. Look for something you both find funny or can relate to. Maybe it's an inside joke, or maybe it's just recognizing how silly we humans can sometimes be when we get overly worked up. Whatever it is, when you find a moment that can make both of you chuckle, it can ease the tension and open the door to a more productive conversation. Be mindful of cultural and personal sensitivities. This is crucial. Not everyone has the same sense of humor, and what's funny to one person might be deeply offensive to another. Pay attention to the other person's cues. If they don't seem receptive to humor, it's best to pull back and stick to more straightforward communication. Humor as a mirror. Sometimes, humor can be used to reflect back the absurdity of a situation. This is especially useful when both parties are caught up in a heated exchange over something relatively minor. A simple, "Isn't it funny how we're arguing over this when there are bigger things we agree on?" can shift the focus back to what truly matters and serve as a reminder of shared goals. Know when not to joke. Some situations are just too serious for humor. If the conflict touches on deeply personal or emotional issues, or if the other person clearly isn't in the mood for levity, it's best to shelve the jokes. Respect the gravity of the situation and choose other tactics for resolving the conflict. By practicing this Stoic approach to humor, you'll not only strengthen your emotional resilience but also become a more adaptable communicator, capable of diffusing tense situations with grace. Number 7. Embrace silence. Picture a sword duel where one opponent lowers their weapon, not out of defeat but to signify that the fight no longer holds meaning. Silence, in its own way, is a powerful tool in resolving conflicts, which is why the Stoics, particularly Marcus Aurelius, often advocated for speaking less and listening more. When words are flying back and forth in a heated exchange, sometimes the most effective response is none at all. Realistic expectations. Don't aim for perfection, aim for progress. Compromise doesn't mean either party gets everything they want, but rather that both sides give and take, finding a middle ground that honors the key concerns of both parties. This is about crafting a solution that works, even if it's not ideal for either person. Recognize that some issues may never fully align, and that's okay. The goal is not perfection, but improvement. Be flexible but firm. Flexibility in your approach is vital, but it's equally important to remain firm in areas that genuinely matter to you. Know what your non-negotiables are, but be willing to bend on issues that are less critical. Compromise requires a balance of standing up for your core values while being open to alternative routes to get there. Flexibility is not a sign of weakness but a recognition of reality. Things don't always go as planned, and being adaptable allows you to move forward with grace and resilience. Concede strategically. Sometimes, letting go of a particular point can grant you leverage in other areas. You might have to give up ground on a less important issue to win favor on one that truly matters. This isn't about manipulation but about understanding that compromise is a dance of give and take. Identify areas where you can afford to concede, and do so with the long-term goal in mind. Concessions made in good faith can create a more cooperative atmosphere. Celebrate the small wins. No compromise is too small to be appreciated. Even if you've only moved a little closer to a resolution, acknowledge that progress has been made. Celebrating these small victories keeps the conversation productive and demonstrates goodwill, showing that both parties are working together rather than against each other. Remember, compromise is not defeat. In a culture that sometimes prizes winning at all costs, it can be easy to see compromise as losing. But the Stoic view, as Epictetus suggests, reminds us that the true win is living in harmony with what happens, accepting the realities of the situation without letting our egos dictate the outcome. Compromise is an act of strength, not weakness, and finding common ground is the hallmark of effective conflict resolution. Avoid all-or-nothing thinking. Absolutes rarely lead to lasting solutions. Recognizing that things don't have to be 100% your way, or 100% their way, makes it easier to find a compromise that benefits both parties. The world is rarely black and white, and adopting a more flexible mindset encourages creativity and collaboration. Keep in mind that shared solutions, even partial ones, are often better than none at all. By practicing this Stoic art of compromise, you create an atmosphere of cooperation and mutual respect, where both sides feel heard and valued. It's a far cry from stubbornly holding on to rigid positions that lead nowhere. Instead, you open the door to constructive problem-solving and solutions that, while not perfect, allow both parties to move forward together. Number 9. Seek resolution, not revenge. Imagine a smoldering fire, its embers barely glowing. Adding more fuel, anger, resentment, or the desire to win at all costs, will only fan the flames, reigniting a blaze that will consume both parties. The Stoics teach us to seek resolution rather than revenge. It's about addressing the issue at hand, not punishing the other person. Release the need for retaliation. The desire for revenge is rooted in ego and a sense of personal injustice. But Stoic wisdom teaches us to let go of these impulses. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. In other words, by choosing to rise above the fray, you maintain your inner peace and avoid being dragged down by the toxicity of revenge-driven thinking. Focus on healing, not hurting. The goal of conflict resolution should be to heal the relationship or at least move toward a more functional interaction. When you focus on causing pain to the other person, you're more likely to escalate the conflict, creating a cycle of retaliation that's hard to break. Shift your mindset from winning to healing. How can you both walk away from this situation better off than when you entered? Let go of grudges. Grudges are heavy burdens that can weigh you down long after the conflict has ended. The Stoics understood the futility of holding on to resentment, recognizing that it only harms the one who bears it. Forgiveness is not about condoning bad behavior but about freeing yourself from the emotional baggage that comes with holding on to anger. By letting go of grudges, you make space for resolution and peace. Turn conflict into a learning experience. Every disagreement offers an opportunity to learn about yourself, the other person, and the dynamics of your relationship. Instead of seeing conflict as something to be avoided or won, approach it with curiosity. What can you learn from this situation? How can it make you a better communicator, a more empathetic person, or a more effective problem solver? Find closure. Once the issue has been resolved, leave it in the past. Bringing up old conflicts during new disagreements only drags both parties backward. Find a sense of closure by acknowledging that the conflict is over and moving forward with a clean slate. The past is beyond your control, but the way you move forward is entirely within your power. By seeking resolution over revenge, you not only resolve conflicts more effectively but also maintain your emotional equilibrium. You emerge stronger, more resilient, and more at peace with yourself and others. The final Stoic strategy for resolving conflicts with wisdom and grace brings us to number 10, reflect and grow. Conflict, while unpleasant, offers a fertile ground for personal growth and deeper understanding. You did. What were your emotions, thoughts, and behaviors during the disagreement? By asking these tough questions, you begin to uncover the root causes of your reactions. Self-awareness is a key element in the Stoic approach to conflict resolution, and it allows you to grow and evolve as an individual. Examine your own role in the situation without placing all the blame on others. Take responsibility for your actions. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of personal responsibility. Instead of fixating on the other person's behavior, focus on what you can control, your reactions and decisions. Acknowledge your part in the conflict, whether it was a word spoken in anger or a decision made without considering the other party's feelings. Taking responsibility is not about guilt, it's about empowerment. By recognizing your own contributions to the conflict, you put yourself in a position to change and improve in the future. Learn from the experience. Every conflict offers a lesson, and it's up to you to extract it. Reflect on the situation once it has passed and ask yourself what you've learned. How could you have handled things differently? What communication strategies worked, and which ones didn't? By viewing the conflict as a learning opportunity, you're more likely to approach future challenges with a more level-headed and thoughtful mindset. This reflective process is a cornerstone of Stoic growth. Adapt your approach. Growth from conflict doesn't mean that you'll never face challenges again, but it does mean that you'll be better equipped to handle them. Use the insights gained from reflection to adapt your approach in the future. Maybe it's improving your communication skills, or perhaps it's learning to recognize emotional triggers before they spiral out of control. Whatever the lesson may be, put it into practice so that you're continually evolving and refining your conflict resolution techniques. Embrace humility. Growth often requires humility, the recognition that we don't have all the answers and that we are continually learning. By acknowledging your imperfections and being open to growth, you create space for personal development. Humility is a sign of strength in Stoicism, as it shows that you are willing to learn from life's challenges rather than being defeated by them. Recognize the silver lining. Even the most painful conflicts can offer something valuable. It could be a deeper understanding of yourself or the other person, improved communication skills, or a clearer sense of your own values. Recognize the positive outcomes, however small, and appreciate them. This doesn't mean you have to be grateful for the conflict itself, but you can be grateful for what it taught you. Celebrate growth. Don't forget to celebrate your progress. Personal growth isn't always easy, and it's important to acknowledge the effort and work you've put into becoming a better version of yourself. Each conflict that you navigate with wisdom and grace is a testament to your strength, resilience, and commitment to living in accordance with Stoic principles. In conclusion, by embracing these 11 Stoic strategies for resolving conflicts with wisdom and grace, you can transform even the most challenging disagreements into opportunities for personal growth, stronger relationships, and deeper self-awareness. Stoicism teaches us that conflict, while inevitable, does not have to be destructive. By approaching it with patience, empathy, and a desire to learn, you can navigate the storms of life with wisdom, clarity, and inner peace. Whether it's through practicing emotional control, embracing compromise, or seeking external assistance, these strategies offer a roadmap for handling conflict with dignity and strength. Remember, every conflict has the potential to be a catalyst for growth, both for yourself and for your relationships. It's not about avoiding conflict altogether but about learning how to approach it with a calm, rational mind and an open heart. With Stoic principles as your guide, you can face any challenge that comes your way and emerge from it wiser, stronger, and more at peace with yourself and the world around you. You did during those tense moments. Which of your principles or beliefs were challenged? What emotions took the forefront, and how did they shape your actions? Being sincere with yourself about these questions is key to understanding your habits and triggers. Translate reflection into action. Don't let your self-reflection weigh you down, use it to propel you forward. Transform your insights into practical steps for improvement. For instance, if you struggle to communicate effectively, focus on improving your active listening skills. If your emotions overwhelmed you, explore mindfulness practices to help regulate them. Seek guidance and feedback. Learning from those who can offer honest, constructive criticism is invaluable. Turn to a trusted friend, therapist, or mentor who can provide unbiased insights and encourage your personal growth. Speaking to someone else about your experiences can offer a new perspective and motivate you to take responsibility for your actions. Remember that growth is a process, patience is crucial. Personal growth doesn't happen overnight. It takes consistent effort and time. Stay committed to your journey of self-improvement, and don't be discouraged by setbacks. Celebrate small victories and treat failures as opportunities for learning. By adopting this Stoic philosophy, you can transform conflict from something destructive into a catalyst for self-discovery and positive change. Like a phoenix rising from the ashes, you'll emerge stronger, wiser, and more capable of facing challenges with confidence and grace. Remember, every conflict can be a stepping stone to becoming the best version of yourself. Number 12. Setting boundaries. Picture yourself standing on a serene beach, the waves gently lapping at your feet. But suddenly, someone steps too close, invading your personal space and disturbing your peace. Setting boundaries is a powerful tool for maintaining your well-being and inner tranquility, as the 12th Stoic technique teaches us. It's not the event itself that troubles us, but our perception of it. As Epictetus reminds us, we can't control what others do, but we can control how we respond. By establishing clear boundaries, you safeguard yourself from negativity and promote healthier relationships. Here's how you can apply this Stoic principle in your life. Understand your inner compass. Before you set boundaries, reflect on your core values and needs. What behaviors drain your energy or violate your personal space? Knowing these internal limits is essential for effective boundary setting. Communicate clearly and respectfully. Avoid vague statements or passive-aggressive behavior. Use "I" statements to assertively and directly express your boundaries while focusing on your own needs and emotions. Polite, respectful communication fosters cooperation and understanding. Consistency is key. Once you've set your boundaries, stick to them. Don't let guilt or the fear of conflict lead you to make exceptions. By consistently upholding your boundaries, you gain respect from others and demonstrate self-respect. Prepare for pushback. Not everyone will easily accept your boundaries. Be ready for resistance, and calmly restate your position when necessary. Emphasize the importance of respecting your needs. Boundaries empower you. Setting limits isn't selfish, it's an act of self-care. By protecting your emotional and mental well-being, you create a space where you can thrive. This aligns with Seneca's idea of living with a cheerful heart and a grateful attitude. Adopting this Stoic concept allows you to establish a strong foundation of respect, clear communication, and ultimately, more fulfilling relationships. Creating boundaries doesn't mean building walls, it means giving yourself the freedom to live a life of inner peace, respect, and tranquility. Number 13, remember, you control your reactions. Imagine standing in the midst of a violent storm, the waves crashing around you, the wind howling. This analogy captures the essence of the 13th Stoic tactic, understanding that while you cannot control external events, you have full control over your reactions to them. The Stoics remind us that true strength lies in mastering our inner world, not in trying to control the external one. Epictetus said, "It is a shame for the soul to depend on the body for satisfaction." We can achieve inner calm despite life's storms by focusing on the one thing we can control, our response. Here's how you can develop this Stoic superpower. Recognize your triggers, become familiar with the situations or people that tend to provoke negative reactions in you. By identifying your emotional triggers, you take the first step toward controlling them. Create space before reacting. When a trigger arises, pause. Take a deep breath and allow yourself a moment to observe the situation calmly. This space between stimulus and response gives you the clarity to make thoughtful decisions rather than acting on impulse. Shift your perspective. Often, it's not the event itself but how we perceive it that fuels our reactions. Reframe the situation by asking yourself if there's another way to look at it. What's the positive in this challenge? How might you grow from it? Choose your response carefully. Once you've collected yourself and reframed the situation, consider your options. Will reacting with anger or frustration help, or is there a more constructive approach? You have the power to either escalate or de-escalate the situation through your response. Practice makes perfect. Learning to control your reactions takes time and practice, just like any other skill. The more you work on responding thoughtfully in difficult situations, the more emotional resilience and self-control you'll develop. Mastering your reactions doesn't make you passive, it makes you stronger. By learning to navigate life's storms with courage and grace, you discover an inner peace that comes from conquering your own emotions rather than trying to control the outside world. Remember, real power lies in maintaining control over your thoughts and feelings, not in trying to dominate external circumstances. Stay composed under pressure, make wise decisions, and face life's challenges with the calm and poise of a Stoic sage.